here we go. Hello everybody and welcome to Wowhead Weekly number 162. If you have been following us, this is actually my 20th week on the show. Exactly 20. So, you know, the double digits starting with a 2. I'm really feeling like I'm building a real home here. It's actually awesome. 20 shows so far. I'm Amy Fuchsia. If you don't know me, I'm a full-time streamer on Twitch and also your Wowhead Weekly host, together with my lovely co-host, Perculia.
Hey everyone! Always great to do the weekly show where I get to tell everyone what is going on with Wowhead. I oversee the news and the features and the guides on the site, and it's always really cool to share what's up with our data mining and guides and other fun stuff. We have a weekly giveaway going on in Twitch chat. Saz has told me it is a mystery. And the winner will be given a list of choices and can select one prize with a value of at least $10. So enter by typing !raffle and you can win a mystery prize.
Ooh.
So
does this mystery prize mean something that costs Battle.net currency?
It could be a character service or a pet or a mount. So could be one of many things.
Okay.
Sass is being mysterious.
Sass is being sass, right? Sass is being sass.
Yep.
So, !raffle to enter that giveaway. Speaking of giveaways, we are also going to be hosting our own little giveaway together. We will be giving away 5 beta keys for Battle for Azeroth. And the way we will be doing this is that you guys can tweet a screenshot of you being on your favorite mount in the game and hashtagging Wowhead Weekly together with tagging both Perk and me. And we can maybe put the links somewhere in case people are not sure. I believe our Twitters are linked below in the stream.
Yeah.
And for YouTube, once this video is on YouTube, I will make sure that our Twitters are in the description as well. So shouldn't be too difficult to find them. So basically you tag us, you hashtag Wowhead Weekly, and you send in a screenshot, or you tweet a screenshot with you on your favorite mount. We thought that would be very fitting because we're both, you know, big on collections. We were thinking of, you know, maybe a mount, maybe a pet, and we decided in the end to go for a mount. So hopefully that will be fun for you guys to take part of.
Yeah, and thank you to Blizzard for providing us with these keys to give away. Always really fun to do kind of creative giveaways to hand them out.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going to be doing. About the show itself, we have a build that might hit during the show. If that happens, then we will probably make a live update of anything which is worth mentioning right now. So if it's something crazy, we will just get straight into it and show you guys what's happening. If things are a bit more subtle changes, we might leave it for the next show, or yeah, we'll take it as it comes, pretty much.
Yeah, the realms are still down, and they claim that there is a Play with the Blues test going on in 90 minutes, so there's not much time for the build to hit, although I guess the, you know, the Play with the Blues could be delayed. So we think it's going to hit around now. Usually they're Tuesdays. Apparently it's not. So we'll just see what happens. You know, if there's a model, we'll highlight it. If it's like, this class has a small spell change, we'll probably just, you know, leave that for the Discords to look at. But we will. We do have other people working on it. Don't worry. I have a lot of other staff that are data mining and writing the news when I'm doing other stuff.
Perk is on the show. Who's gonna write the articles?
Yeah.
No, we got people helping out, so we're safe. We're safe. If anything new happens, which is really cool, we will know. So it's okay.
Yeah. So, speaking of discoveries from last week's build, as well as fitting news, because we both like mounts, one of our first topics is on a kind of secret mount that was not the most elaborate secret, but it was still a little hidden, and it was found by the Secret Finding Discord on the Battle for Azeroth beta.
The mount is called, let me see if I can say this right, the Nazjatar's Blood Serpent. And this mount has a similar model to what you may recognize from the Abyss Worm and the old Riddler's mount as well.
Right. This is a mount that has a small process where you get it in Stormsong Valley, you kill a bunch of eels for the Abyssal Fragment, you turn 20 of them into a special thing, and you bring it to the well-hidden altar of the Abyss. You then summon the adherent of the Abyss, and the person who summons the adherent can then loot the mount that drops from it. Mm-hmm. So very old gods. The flavor text on this mount is that the monstrous serpents riddled with corruption serve as mounts for N'Zoth's high-ranking lieutenants in the Great Sea. So we know a battle for Azeroth, it's all about factions, but we've got some kind of shadow old god magic going on here as well.
Mm-hmm. Which is something that we see trending all over the game. The old gods are behind everything.
And Muffinus, the developer responsible for a lot of secrets, had a few tweets. When this was found, he did, 1 out of question mark secrets found, implying there was a lot more. And he talked about how, there are different types of secrets, different varieties, that some are elaborate, some are not elaborate. There's still a lot more going on. This one was pretty straightforward. Compared to other ones, it was basically just finding a bunch of stuff to summon a rare spawn who drops them out.
Yeah. So this mount, as mentioned, is an old model. I'm not myself a big fan of the model, but I think from the models that do exist, this is probably the best color. I'll just remind you again of how it looks like. It's something that we see pretty commonly in World of Warcraft. A lot of mounts do get reskins, so it's not too surprising. And I think the fact that it's a secret mount, or a I think we could call it a secret mount, is pretty nice. And that tweet makes me more excited as well, because I think there should be more secret things in the game, more kind of unique, different ways of obtaining things, not just like, oh, this this mount drops from X, or this mount is a reward from this quest. It's just doing something a little bit different. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy about having more secrets to find. From those of you guys who know me, I am also missing the Abyss Worm because it just won't drop for me. So I do have a little bit of PTSD from seeing this mount model, but I think it's great that more secret mounts are being added, even if they use this model. I think it's cool.
Yeah, and I forgot to put this in the notes, but when you're talking about alternate ways to get mounts, this reminded me, some of the mounts we were showing last week on the show, such as like the horse and hyena recolors, players have been getting them as BOE mounts just by killing mobs in their related zones, and then that mount can be sold or traded. So that's interesting how if you want recolors of different types of mounts, there is this other way to have, a reskinned horse or hyena, or I think pterodactyl and some other type I am forgetting. So different ways to get different mounts. Kind of reminds me of Warlords, where some rare spawns, had mounts that everyone could get. Some had one that was a BOE. I like the variety. So we'll see if even more mounts get added in future builds.
Yeah, I think variety is great. Like, the more different ways to get things, the better. And obviously, the more variety in mount models is also awesome, but there's always going to be a limit of how many cool new mounts you can think of. So I think having reskins of certain mounts is okay every now and again.
Yeah, and the black and red is pretty striking as well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think every mount should have a black and red version. That'd make me happy.
Your hair perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Moving on to the topic of collections, there's something interesting that has popped up on the beta servers. It seems like the old NPCs that were selling the ZG or Zul'Gurub recipes from back in the day are actually back in the game again. And this is raising a lot of new questions. What does this mean to the old reputations? What does it mean to the recipes? A lot of these recipes require items that are no longer obtainable. Does this mean that the reputation will also come back because you can no longer gain the reputation for the Zandalari tribe? So what does this mean? What do you think, Perk?
I think that the reputation is coming back in some form, especially because there is the new achievement for 100 exalted reputations, and currently you can't get that right now.
No.
And if the reputation came back, you could once again re-earn Hero of the Zandalar tribe. They also have dialogue implying that something new is on the way, talking about the paragons of power and different types of bijous to collect. So that makes it seem like that could be hinting at a new type of rep system or content involving the Zandalar. Also, when you talk to them, they have dialogue essentially reflecting that you help them in Classic WoW, and then stuff got weird when the Zandalari turned hostile, and now things have really changed for them since 15 years ago. So I think that they'll be coming back, and maybe their storyline will continue, and we will get some way of earning reputation with them. Maybe, I don't think Zul'Gurub will come back as a dungeon again,
no.
But I think that there will be some quests, or like maybe Respawns will drop bijous for rep, and I think that they will change the materials required for the recipes or have ways to get them again. Like maybe there'll be a tiger rare spawn, and then that tiger drops the primal tiger leather.
Speaking of the old recipes having old regions, does that mean people who already have the recipes are not really able to craft them?
Right, because you need those old reagents. So if you have them stockpiled somewhere, you can. But, for people that weren't playing back then, ZG had a lot of things like the Panther area. There was primal bat leather by the Bat Boss Nohiric. Or there was the Bloodvine, which was a special flower from the instance. There was Tiger Leather by the Tiger Boss area. And you can only get that in the instance. So when all that was changed in Cataclysm and the reputations were removed, you could no longer craft stuff. So if you see someone selling any of the items for transmog, they were probably extremely expensive.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm just pulling up, just for fun, I'm pulling up what the Bloodvine lens is going for based on the auction house. Oh yeah, so the Bloodvine lens, which is just an eye patch, the buyout price is 26,000 gold.
That's not too bad.
Right. It's not the worst, but it has the same
it's not cheap
as some other things. So you
that's why
just
then.
To be like, oh well, if people inspect me, you know that I have the version that is unobtainable.
So that would be a lot more expensive if it was a unique appearance.
Right.
I wonder if some of those appearances actually are unique, because if they are, I could imagine them being really expensive, because the recipes are no longer obtainable years ago, and the mats for the recipes are also no longer obtainable. That must be really expensive. Like I have some or there are some tailoring patterns that are no longer obtainable, but the mats themselves are. Yeah.
Right. So the primal batskin jerkin, it's like a black tank top. The buyout price for that is 660,000 gold.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Because it takes 14 pieces of primal bat leather that you can no longer get.
Yeah. And maybe it's also a unique appearance.
Right. It has the same model as some mail, but it is a leather. But it's leather.
Yeah. So a leather character would not be able to learn the mail one, so they need the leather version of it. Yeah, that makes more sense. That's interesting.
So maybe there's back. Yeah. And that could affect the economy. And it could also get, if you didn't experience CG back in the day, some of these recipes are pretty fun and interesting. There is a living action potion which makes you immune to stun and movement impairing effects for the next 3 seconds, and removes existing stun and movement impairing effects. So that's kind of a fun. That seems like it'd be good for World PvP.
Yeah.
Which is now a big thing with War mode. So it's also really fun seeing all the set bonuses. They're not really OP, but it just shows how WoW had some really fun and weird itemization back in the day. For example, the Primal Batskin set increases your movement speed and swim speed, which is, you know, just kind of weird. And the Blood Tiger harness increases your critical strike and haste. So, I don't know, it's nice seeing just wacky stuff on gear that will not affect your overall gameplay, hopefully, but it's just, it adds some character.
Yeah, it's like finding old items with like leather or mail items with agility and like mana. No, wait. Well, how would it be? Like a hunter item?
Oh yeah, MP5 and agility.
That's it. Yeah. I was like, wait, what would be the item? Because spirit doesn't exist anymore, so you can't find that.
There used to be some items with negative stats, and I'm not sure if they corrected them. Yeah, like there was some items, there was like Doomsayer's robes, and you did some like evil quest, and there was like -10 to your chest, and then there was a really cool sword called Corruption from Old Stratholme, and it was like negative strength and stamina, something like that, so...
You know about the rings as well, the 1 ring, 2 ring? They all got destroyed with the item squish. I'm actually still really sad about that.
I know.
I have an old screenshot with them like properly. So if you don't know what that is, basically the 1 ring has only stats of +1 for each of them. I don't remember the exact stats, but it could be like +1 int, +1 crit, +1 mastery or something similar. And then the 2 ring has +2 crit, +2 int, or whatever else there was. And then there was the 3 ring, I think, and the 5 ring. And I think on the 5 ring it says in the special flavor text that the four ring was eaten up or something similar. I need to go back to those rings. It's been a long time, but yeah, those items got completely messed up by the item squish. The stats on them they were kind of, I guess, automatically changed because of how the scaling changed, which is kind of sad. But they're cool items. Yeah, pretty cool. I like them. I'm still gonna keep them, even if the item name is kind of wrong. I'm gonna keep them. But yeah, I find this really interesting because my ZG rep, like, I was kind of new at the time, so I didn't really grind it fully. So it's like one of those reputations that I have, which is just not done, and it's really annoying. Having every single reputation exalted to max. I was gonna say exalted 999, but that's not even a thing anymore, right? It's just exalted now.
Right.
There is no 999. Having everything at that and then like ZG just sitting there like not done is really annoying. So I'm actually hoping that this reputation does come back. I mean, I do understand people who may feel like, but you know, like we had it back in the day, like want to feel special, but you know, you still got your achievement, which is dated back in the day, and I don't think it's that bad if people can get their reputation again.
Yeah, as one of those people who got it back in the day, like, ZG had a lot of really good gear for rogues, and I was farming it because I didn't have enough DKP for the 40-man raids, but I knew if I could get a clown suit from ZG, I would have, like, really awesome gear and DPS. Like, I was, you know, all about that Hero of the Zandalar rep, you know, let's go back and farm it so I can get my enchants on my gear, you know, I got the Swift Zulian Tiger. There was like a really good dagger at the time that's actually still really good for transmog for a different reason. And I think it's okay. People can experience the rep again. It was a really fun memory for me, but it would be cool if the people who had it before a certain date, that achievement, could have like a special line of thanks, like, oh, good to see you again, or, you know, glad we're friends again. Like, I think that would be nice. Just a little thing acknowledging people who got it back in the day. Did you achieve a title for this? No, they had nothing. It just was like a little feat of strength. Because that could be a thing. If they would reward the old people with some kind of title, I think that would make it pretty fair. Yeah. Also, interesting to note, they are located in Zuldazar, but they are they're friendly to both factions. Interesting. So I don't know how this will work for Alliance players if we have to fight our way into the city. Yeah. It's interesting because the Zandalar are the Horde allied race, but, you know, obviously as the Alliance, I'm like, I have Exalted Rep with you guys, and like I need to play this pattern that you're selling. So how does that fit into the faction conflict? Yeah, no, I'm excited to see how this will unfold. It's really interesting. Yeah. And I wonder if they would, in that case, reintroduce those old items and, you know, turn the economy upside down. I guess we'll have to wait to see. Yep. There is that data mine 8.1 raid hinting something is up in Zuldazar, so maybe they're involved. But yeah, we don't know too much about that. But yeah, I love speculating on this. I love me too. CG back in the day, so that I noticed that some people in the chat were discussing the giveaway, so I just wanted to say that for the Beta
beta key giveaway that we have, you tag me and Perk on Twitter. Our Twitters should be down below. And also use the hashtag Wowhead Weekly. I saw people say hashtag Wowhead. I think that might be a little bit harder to
everyone
filter.
Hashtags Wowhead, like, Wowhead, where is this item? Wowhead this, Wowhead that.
So then it might get like stuck or like lost in the twisting nether. So just stick to hashtag Wowhead Weekly. On YouTube we'll make sure that the information is down below. So don't worry.
Oh, we got a cat.
Oh, Brightpaw is making a visit.
Hello, Brightpaw. Hello, baby.
I think Brightpaw is here because he's very excited about the next thing we're going to be talking about. Although it's not about cats. We'll pretend he's interested in this. The next thing I wanted to mention is that the character limit is, or will be, increased in BFA to 18. And a few people might wonder, like, why do we keep increasing the character limits? Like, this is crazy. I don't need 18 characters in the same realm. The reason for this is all the new allied races that are being introduced, Blizzard does not want you to feel like you need to delete a character if you want to stick to the same server and also play one of the new allied races. And this brings another question into the picture. When we keep having new allied races added, does that mean in the end it's going to be 50 characters per realm?
Right, like, are we going to have 20 when Kulturas and Zandalar become a thing?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it, but then, I don't know, maybe they would increase to 20 and then keep it at that and be like, hey, you know, if you want to play future allied races, stop creating characters. No, I don't know, honestly. This is, it's interesting. I'm not sure if people actually do create they might. I could imagine people do start all the allied races.
Like, let me get my heritage armor and that's it.
Yeah.
There's also the question, this has not been happening yet, but people are wondering, will they increase the overall amount of characters?
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything about that yet, but yeah, that would be nice.
Nothing about that yet, but that would indeed be very nice. Yeah. Because after you've spent a lot of time in the game and you've played with different friends on different servers and everything, like, characters do add up. And sometimes people tell me, like, oh, but you have that level 60 character, you have that same class at 110 and at 90. Do you really need a 60? But it's like, but, that 60 character, I have lots of memories with it. And I used to do this and this in this guild with these friends. I don't want to delete it. And it's like that with a lot of my characters. And I'm sure a lot of other people also can relate to that. So it's, I can see it being something that a lot of people would want to have. But I'm not sure if Blizzard would do it. I think that might, I don't know, maybe affect their servers somehow. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how long it took for the backpack just to get 4 more slots.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, there's this feat of engineering. Here's a little bit more space. So maybe there's some technical things going on behind the scenes with this.
Mm-hmm. Then again, it's been at 50 for a long time, so maybe it is due.
Yeah. I mean, if it was, like, what are we going to get to? Oh, you can have, like, 25 on one server, but 50 overall?
Yeah. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So another topic that has a bit more controversy is some clarifications on Broken Isles Pathfinder. So last show we were talking about the data mined requirements, which could also be previewed in game, and there was a lot of confusion because it said complete the Kulturas and Zandalari achievements listed below, and the achievements required getting reputation with stuff related to Kulturas or Zandalari, but more important, doing all the related quests, and that created a bit of an uproar because people were like, I have to now, like, you're making me pick a side with my faction now. Like, I have to play the enemy faction to fly, and, like, I hate this enemy faction. Like, I've chosen my side. I have to level 2 characters. But Blizzard clarified you only have to do the Horde or Alliance campaign.
Yeah, so it's most likely some kind of... Whoa! Most likely some kind of placeholder achievement, which will be split up, or maybe they'll just change the wording even, complete the Kultiras or Zandalari achievements. Right. Yeah, it's still in beta, so it's... Now we know at least that they have confirmed that you will not have to play both factions. So that's good to know. Not everyone actually levels both characters, like, early in the expansion. People normally, or I think at least people normally stick to their own character and their own realm, you know, to level up, to gear up, all those initial things that has to be done. And then once you feel comfortable and you have a bit less things to do, less grinds to face, that's normally when people play the opposite faction as well, you know, to have a character on both sides if you maybe have friends on both sides, or people who decide to not play the other side at all. So this is great for that, because you don't want to have to play, you don't want to be forced to play the other faction just to be able to fly on your main.
Right, and the reputation should be natural, because as you are questing and doing stuff with the war campaign, parts of the campaign are gated behind various reputations at lower levels. So, you know, if you're doing the war campaign to unlock things like the Dark Irons or the Maghar, you already need to be grinding some rep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that would be a bit too much to expect to do it on. It's even too much to expect on 2 characters, just like even on the same realm. So I mean, on the same faction. So having to do both factions, that would be too much. So I'm glad Blizzard recognizes that.
Yep. We also learned a lot more about PvP achievements, which is a hot topic for 2 reasons. One reason is people are concerned about the prestige rewards, all the collectors, and, you know, people are just interested in general because of war mode going on. So the first thing we learned is that you can grind out honor levels, as already discussed, and there are achievements for honor levels, and if you do not already have the prestige rewards, those rewards are assigned to BFA honor levels going forward. So like honor level 60 gives you an elite pennant, while 70 is the prestigious Azure Courser, and 80 is the unrelenting title. And Blizzard clarified, like, yeah, we know the numbers are really high. The pacing is different in Battle for Azeroth than in Legion. Because, you know, people are getting really anxious that it's like, I need honor level 250 to get a mount. And it's like, well, they will go faster than in Legion. You know, Legion, it was like prestige, and, you know, in BFA, it's honor.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Like, saying that the pacing is different, what does that mean? Like, does it mean like, it's going to be faster?
Yeah, I believe it's going to go faster. Hopefully. That would be
and then clarify next week, like, yeah, with pacing being different, we meant that now every honor level has to be felt. Yeah. No, I'm sure they did mean it as a faster thing, but it still doesn't feel confirmed. Like,
right.
I want to hear them say it's going to be faster.
Also, it will be account-wide, so if you spread up your PvP on alts, it will end up being faster as well.
That's true. Yeah, so if you have a bunch of prestige levels across different characters, once you log in when BFA is live, or maybe in the pre-patch actually, usually they do a lot of these kind of changes in the pre-patch, right?
Yeah, all the system changes are in the pre-patch.
Then all your character levels will be added together, and you should have a total which will be the same across the whole account.
Yeah. We also learned a little more about changes at the high end. Previously, so to obtain the Gladiator title, as well as the special Proto Drake for the season, the Dread Gladiators Proto Drake, you need to win 50 games while on the Gladiators bracket per season. So you can't just, suddenly shoot up to the top. You need to stay there for a while. And keep in mind that there are now brackets. So, you know, there is like the Gladiator bracket above a certain ranking, and then there's like the Duelist bracket. It's not like this weird, like, I don't know what I am, or like, we're just all on the spectrum. So there's a specific bracket, and you get the Gladiator title, and then the Dread Gladiators Proto Drake. And if you want the Dread Gladiators title, you need to place in the top 0.1% of your faction.
Oh, okay. So does that mean that the mount... Oh yeah, that's how it is now too, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah, Season Gladiator is the top of the top, and then Gladiator is the Gladiators. Gotcha. Yeah. In that case, it's pretty similar. Someone in the chat mentioned that it used to be 150 games, and now it's 50 games. It used to be 150 games played in total, whereas now it's going to be 50 games in the Gladiator bracket. And who knows? It might take you... I don't know, might take you 10 games, probably not, probably a lot more. Or it might take you 200 games to reach that bracket. And then you have to play 50 while staying in, or you have to win 50 while in the bracket. I guess that means that you can win 10 in the bracket, then you can drop down, and then you can come back up again.
I think that's how it should
Yeah.
That
So
would
and
be
then
kind
like do 40 to I think the math should add up like that. Obviously I don't know, but yeah, we'll see.
It could also, in theory, reward people who maybe peaked earlier at the start of the season, as opposed to like, okay, we all gotta like wait for this final push and
Yeah.
go to end at a certain time. So
yeah, that's a good point. That means you don't have to like be worried, and you don't have to not know if you're gonna get Gladiator Mounted
Right.
title. You'll know immediately because maybe the reward is even given straight away.
Right. I mean, that would make sense. And it's like, okay, I got my criteria. The achievement says it's done. I don't need to worry if the, bracket is higher for my faction and am I in it. It's just like, if you were in the gladiator bracket and you're getting your wins while you're there.
How is the elite gear? Is that rewarded at the end? Because that was also changed to be given. Yeah, like
right. It will be at different levels. Nobody knows at what level yet, but different pieces are at different points. Some will be higher, some will be lower than the 2000 rating currently, and you can get them throughout the season, not after.
That's really interesting. Imagine that, like you spend like X amount of time working on your gladiator, and then you get your 50th win, and then you just get the mount and the title in your mailbox. Like you don't have to wait till the end of the season. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that I can imagine more PvP.
Yeah, I can imagine for some people it being annoying that they have to stay up late to make sure that they have that last push and
Right.
So I think that's pretty good.
And if like the meta shifts or if there's like hotfix changes or anything, it's okay. Well, I got my 50 titles, and now if Blizzard has changed something or I'm busy raiding, I don't need to worry that my class is suddenly not viable at the end of the season, or I have to like, stress and choose PvP over Mythic progression. So I think it's an interesting change.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think it's a good change. But yeah, so your honor levels will indeed be added up together across all your characters and across factions too. Because they haven't specified otherwise, so that's what I would assume. I don't think you'll have one for Horde and another honor level for Alliance. I think everything will be added up together.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We've got some more animations to share. This may look kind of minor, but hunters are really excited about this. There are new combat-ready animations, which is what you see when you are out of range to attack a boss. Hunters previously held a weapon by their side, and now they hold their bow, gun, or crossbow about, halfway up. And each race has a slightly different variation, so, the unique flavor of each race is somewhat preserved. Not everyone holds things the same way. And I think we've got some pictures of them, so I think we've got the Blood Elf and the Night Elf, and the Blood Elf, the Nightborn, and the humans. And you can see even more on Wowhead by, if you go to the dressing room and there's the animation menu, the ready bow, ready crossbow, and ready rifle are the animations you want to see.
So how do hunters look now? Because I don't really play a hunter. Does that mean they don't?
No, they're just like, they're just holding the bow at their side. Like, oh, everyone else is like, I'm about to attack. And the hunters are like, so...
Okay, so everyone's like getting ready, and hunters are just standing there.
Right.
Okay, I'd never realized because I never played a hunter. In that case, this is big news.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying it would be cool if this could also be an idle out of combat animation option. It does add some RP flavor. If someone is like, oh, I'm a hunter and I'm not in combat, but I'm still mindful. Like maybe someone could be attacking on. I'll hold this weapon. Nicely.
Yeah. Like, I heard something in the bush over there.
Exactly.
Like, get the gun out. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
And
that's awesome. Congrats, hunters.
It's a pose a lot of, like, NPCs are using, like, guards at ease. So I can see if someone is, like, trying to RP that, they remember the military or, like, the Stormwind Guard, or they are in service of someone that they want to look like they're at attention. Brightpaw is being ridiculous on this desk.
Aww.
He is just being everywhere right now.
Aww.
He really liked the animation. But right now I'm trying to move my mouse, and his tail is just over my mouse in my hand, and he knocked my phone off the desk, and his head is off one side, and his tail is off another side.
Grandpa being mischievous.
Yep. Good cat.
Mm-hmm. Good cat. Moving on, we have some updates on lore-related things. The first thing that we have to discuss is the new Jaina comic. So this is the first out of a 3 comic part for Battle for Azeroth. And I've got some of the pages to show you guys as well.
Yeah. I don't think that this is spoilers because this is something Blizzard has officially posted and shared images of everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is spoilers either. As it's official information that's out.
Yeah, so to recap, Jaina at the start is dwelling on Theramore and the ghosts of Theramore. She was kind of taken by surprise when Garrosh decided to bomb Theramore in a show of authority, and then that made Jaina think that maybe she was like too empathetic or trusting, how she tried to be neutral with the Horde, and this is how they have repaid her. So she's reflecting on her past, and we also see her eavesdropping on Kulturas and seeing her mother honoring the dead and the sacrifice Jaina's father made. We see Jaina Proudmoore saying that she's not interested in helping the Alliance with the Navy, that they'd like to stay independent, they don't like the Alliance. And we also see Lady Ashvane kind of talking in her ear, saying like, oh, you know, don't listen to Jaina. So we also learned that Catherine, Jaina's mom, was the one that encouraged Catherine to study in Dalaran and become a mage, and had to really convince her father to do so.
Mm-hmm. And I know that I flipped through these pages really fast, but if you are interested, we have links available so you can read it yourself. And the page that I'm looking at right now, for example, is the part where you can see Catherine saying, "I moved heaven and earth to smooth her path. I had to fight Dalen to allow her to be trained in Dalaran." And then you can read Jaina's thoughts saying, "Oh, mother, I didn't know."
Right.
So if you want to read the rest of it, you can feel free to check it out.
Yeah, and it sets up the story nicely because obviously we are going to Kulturas and recruiting them as the allied race. Jaina and her mother have further quest lines in Battle for Azeroth, and you know, Jaina has been in the middle of a lot of difficult decisions involving the betrayal of others. You know, she tried to have peace during Wrathgate, and you know, Varian and Sylvanas were at each other's throats, and now she's wondering, maybe I should have just ended the Horde there as opposed to peace. Or I was trusting and then Theramore got blown up by the Horde. And I was in charge of the Kirin Tor and they let the Horde back into Dalaran. And, you know, the Horde created a lot of problems in Mista Pandaria. So she is just reflecting on a lot of her choices. And even how people were saying that these were her character's strengths, like her empathy, and she feels that they have become a liability. And that's really tough to go through when you think that, like, you're really good at something and everyone is praising you for something, but you're thinking that it's actually caused a lot of, you know, pain and strife.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see this from Jaina's point of view. Seeing her struggle with her thoughts, seeing her wonder a lot of what ifs, you know, should she have done anything differently? Would things have been better now? And it's like you can see it from 2 different sides. Like, is Jaina just, you know, complaining and being sensitive, but at the same time you can see that, you know, she did go through a lot of things, and also her hatred or her anger for the Horde, is it justified? Is it, you know, maybe not really fair because it wasn't the whole Horde's fault of what happened. It's nice to get a little bit of a sneak peek background peek into what Jaina has been going through in her head in time for now Battle for Azeroth, when she is gonna be, you know, be there a lot more than in Legion, since we didn't really see her in Legion. Like, we had no idea of where she was. So it's a nice little intro again to what is happening in BFA.
Yeah. This next part, I think, should be spoilers, and it's an interesting to transition from the comic because it touches upon one of the points in the comic that Jaina feels was a defining moment for her father, and this war campaign revisits that moment. So, we don't have any broadcast text so far. We don't know if this build will have anything. But we were able to play through more of the Horde War campaign, which is takes you to the enemy continent, and you have to get reputation to proceed through. And when you're done, you can unlock the Dark Iron or the Maghar Dwarfs. And we have progressed more through the Horde one because there are some bugs on the Alliance side. And we have learned a few interesting things. We have discussed the broadcast text previously, where Lillian Voss is raising the Tide Sage to become Forsaken and is talking about the bond the Forsaken share. And now we actually got to play through all of that. And it's pretty much what we came up with. You know, it's pretty much they need the Tide Sage. They are asking his help to find their Kultura's war heroes. Mm-hmm. And he says, you know, I'm dying in exchange for my life. You know, please turn me into a Forsaken. And they try to dissuade him. And then he's so set on it, and they realize he's helpful. So they then decide to aid him. But the really interesting part, which we posted today, was that you finally see who exactly is this war hero the Forsaken are looking for, that they are, you know, trying to raise from the dead. We've seen them previously in this quest line raise different Kultura soldiers, and now they find a shipwreck. And in the shipwreck, we find Marshal Valentine, who is the captain of Tieragard and Marshal of the 3rd Kulturan Fleet. And even more surprisingly, we find Derek Proudmoore, the Prince of Kulturas, and Derek's death at the hands of the Horde Dragon Riders led Jaina's father down a path of vengeance against the Horde, and now the Horde have his son's body.
Mm-hmm.
And Jaina had been speculating that maybe she should have comforted her father better, or understood why he disliked the Horde after the death of his son. Like, there's a little panel where they're standing at his grave, as opposed to just running off and seeing the side of the Horde. So this will certainly, if he's reanimated in some way or serving the Forsaken, this will certainly further open the old wounds that Jaina and her mother are feeling about that.
Mm-hmm. And Lillian Voss, I think we saw some of these passages before, maybe not, maybe, when she is warning this Tide Sage about becoming Forsaken and what it means to be Forsaken. He still wanted to. He thought that he could help his family if he would do that. And it's kind of like funny and sad at the same time to see, as this is what happens afterwards.
Yeah, it's really heartbreaking because, like, he's so set on and he thinks that, like, he'll be different and, like, they'll, you know, the connection with his family will endure, and it's just, no, it doesn't.
Because he didn't want to die and just disappear. He wanted to stay so he could help his family. And when he was alive as a Forsaken, he was pretty excited to go back to his family. And here you see his family reacting to him. There's a Hannah Zelling who says, stay away. There's a Mathros Zelling who says, Mama, I'm scared of the monster. There's a Thomas who says, no, that's him. Sorry.
Right, yeah.
There's a Hannah saying again, keep it away. There's a Matthew saying, Mama, help us. It's a mess. It's not very nice. And after this, what we see basically is Lillian Voss saying, yeah, like, we tried to tell you it's not easy being Forsaken, and you're gonna have to find a place, you know, among the Forsaken people who will, you know, accept you for who you are. But I find it interesting, though, like, is it not possible for them to talk to each other and, like, understand each other?
Well, they should. I mean, as we learned in Before the Storm, there was the meeting of the human and the Forsaken.
That's true.
And, you know, Anduin was able to raise Kalia with the help of a Forsaken and a Naru, so they, you know, are obviously communicating, and there's dialogue where they are talking in buildings together, so...
Because I feel like if someone is, like, your dad or your husband, if you can speak to them and they can convince you that they are, like, why would you call them a monster? Like, because he's speaking to them. It's not just like a picture or something. It's not someone in the distance, but it's, I guess they just wanted to really portray how difficult it is for people to accept people being
right.
Forsaken.
I mean, if you reveal himself, they could be like, oh my god, like, you brought, like, a plague on our house, and, you know, people think we're cursed, and this is even worse. Like, you know, now
like don't be close to the children.
Hunted, right? Or like we're gonna be hunted now by the other people who think we're outcasts, and please go away.
I saw someone say define monster in this context. When I said monster, I was referring to this line here of Mathra Zelling, who says, "Mama, I'm scared of the monster." Yeah. So that's what I was referring to. But yeah, it was interesting to see that little point of view of, you know, going from not undead to undead, and having that kind of reaction from your own family.
Yeah. So we are grinding out rep to do part 6. And I guess we'll see if they can resurrect Derek or not. But, you know, we've kind of seen this with the Death Knight campaign, how they were trying to, you know, raise people and turn Tyrion, and how that didn't really work out. So I'm not sure what will happen here. We also have another interesting... I guess, should we keep it on for this? It goes over the battles of the missions. We can keep spoilers up for this.
Yeah, let's keep it up. Let's keep it up. Yeah,
so the red shirt guy from Blizz Planet noticed that a lot of the missions have really interesting descriptions. It's not like, you know, kill 10 boars. It's like, the Alliance is attacking the Horde at the crossroads, or like, the Horde has secured a foothold in Theramore. And you can kind of piece it together and understand the plot of where people are attacking each other, and maybe if that will lead to future war fronts. So even if you are doing stuff in Kultiras or Zandalar, the conflict is continuing at home, which makes sense after, you know, Teldrassil and Lordaeron. So on the Alliance side, it seems the Horde still have parts of Darkshire and Ashenvale. The Alliance are now attacking lots of settlements around Orgrimmar, including the Crossroads, Ashara, Echo Isles, and Razor Hill. Both factions are trying to investigate the ruins of Theramore. Some of these places also have Azerite, so people are fighting over that. Maybe Theramore could be a war front in the future. You know, it's kind of a ruins similar to Arathi Highlands now. And on Eastern Kingdoms, the Alliance and Horde are fighting over Silverpine Forest, because, you know, the Alliance won, or they own Undercity, even though it's not really, you know, full of life now. And they've even made progress into Hillsbrad Foothills, where in one mission we learn the Alliance Paladins have reclaimed South Shore and are trying to purify it. South Shore being an Alliance city in the famous, you know, South Shore versus Terran Mill PvP that was then taken over by the Forsaken and kind of corrupted and blight in Cataclysm, and now it's kind of being purified. So that's interesting. Maybe that means Undercity could be purified. Who knows?
Yeah, I find it really interesting that these missions actually have such story. Because I was when I was reading the Wowhead article, the way it's written is that it gives like a story, and every time there's a specific description of something happening, it's like a link to the mission itself, and it's like, wow. It's a whole story being told, and there's like little wars and little fights like everywhere. And I like these maps as well, that kind of gives a good idea of how it's looking with Alliance versus Horde. I'm sure you guys understand, but I'll just say it, you know, in case you're half asleep or something. The blue parts is the Alliance part, and the red parts are the Horde parts. And you can see in quite a few of these areas that they're really getting close into each other, and the fights are really close. I'm not sure what word I was looking for there, but yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of fighting going on.
It's not, I think that there's, based on the cinematic with the red and the blue covering the entire map, people were like, oh, you know, Alliance is all over on Eastern Kingdoms, and everyone owns a continent, but it's really not that. And
no,
when
it's
you see
completely
that
mixed.
All the Alliance attacks are in Orgrimmar, you're like, wow, like the Alliance is, like, you know, Orgrimmar does not really look in good shape here. So it's definitely not that each faction has abandoned the other continent.
No, it's like the fights are still there. They're still happening.
Yep.
So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I think that after we've had some kind of lackluster missions in the future, I'm glad to see, not in the future, in the past, I'm glad to see the improvements to the missions in Battle for Azeroth, because there was a lot of very boring ones in Warlords, or they were like inside jokes, like referencing a kind of obscure part of the Warlords, or like, oh, like you can get holo tokens, wink, wink. So it's cool that these have a bigger role in Battle for Azeroth. Hopefully, you won't have to get important loot or something behind them, but if you are doing missions, or maybe you're doing stuff on your phone, it's nice that they don't feel, meh. And if you don't want to do the missions, you can read the article, you can browse the mission database on Wowhead to just see the flavor text of what's going on.
And I'm not sure who it was who wrote the article. Was it you, Perk?
Oh,
there was speculation.
Yeah, that was actually my coworker Anshlin. He also did the maps.
Okay. But yeah, that was really interesting.
Yeah, he was like, based on the quarterly report, Activision wants to do more with mobile, and this could be an opportunity to do more with missions on some sort of mobile app to have World of Warcraft kind of meet their quota, meeting Activision's goals. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting speculation on his end.
Like being able to do missions on the phone is something that we have already, and then if they could build it further somehow, like, I don't know, maybe just make it more immersive or more engaging somehow for you to get involved in the lore that's happening. Maybe doing something with the missions on mobile will affect things differently. I think that could be really interesting. I don't think too much of it is good for World of Warcraft, because I think the immersion in the game shouldn't be ruined by people being forced to play on the mobile. But I think it's still an interesting, like, extra sort of asset.
Yeah. I would like some Pokemon Go, but like Battle Pet Go or like Pepe Go, where you just like there's little Pepes in the world, and you catch the Pepe on your phone, or you you go to a gym, or you walk and you finish a quest because you have walked a certain period of time.
Yeah, they could do that and give you like just tiny rewards that doesn't force people to do it, but gives you an extra little incentive. So it could be, in today's rewards, it could be like, a bit of AP or like a bit of gold or something. Because I think it's important for WoW to keep the immersion in the game, especially for like RP players and, people who don't necessarily want to take out their phone because they just want to play the game. Right. Like for the same reason why there's not many real life direct like references in the game. Like it's more like
it's very strict.
Yeah.
Like they'll reference Game of Thrones, but they're not going to just be like, oh, like I'm gonna buy French fries and fried chicken. They'll be like, oh, we'll give him like lieutenant, chicken. They'll change the wording so it fits the world even if they do want a pop culture reference.
Yeah, they're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to, my favorite Disney movie is this. No, like, but then they could make a reference that is very similar to, like, I don't know, Lion King or something. So, I think it's important to keep that kind of immersion.
Yeah. So we still don't have any build info yet.
Okay.
But yeah, we're sort of done with our BFA stuff. We've got a little bit of live news and then some Wowhead guides I wanted to highlight. So yeah, we can highlight the other parts of the news now, I guess, as we see if anything else comes in. The interesting bit of live news is that the Mythic 15 artifact appearances will be obtainable in Battle for Azeroth. Previously, we thought that the Keystone Master achievement would not be available, and if you wanted that Balance of Power tint, you needed to get the Keystone Master achievement done now before BFA. But Blizzard has confirmed that you can complete the Mythic 15 BFA dungeon at level 120, and that
no longer spoiler.
Oh yeah. Artifact appearances spoilers. Yeah.
So that makes it, I mean, I think it's already confirmed. I think everyone already knows Mythic Plus is very successful, but Mythic Plus is staying, Mythic Plus 15 achievement is also staying, and the artifact appearance will also still be available. I think it makes sense. I mean, the appearance is not a unique one, it's a tint. It's a color of what is it called? Balance of Power? Balance of Power. So I think, if you don't have that, imagine later on, like, having a collection complex like OCD where, like, you have 3 of the 4 and you can't get that third one, and that's quite annoying. It's like a pizza that's one piece is missing from it. I understand with, like, Mage Tower, because then you just don't get any of them.
Right, you don't get that silhouette.
Yeah, like, you don't have, like, that thing of, like, oh, this weapon actually exists, but like in green or whatever the color is. But unfortunately, I didn't do it, so I can't get it. And I think this way it makes the transmog collection a little bit cleaner. So I think this is a very good decision.
Yep. So I'll just run through some new guides that are on Wowhead. And just as a reminder, we're getting towards the end of the show, maybe. So if you would like to enter the giveaway, SAS has a mystery giveaway for something like a pet or a mount or character service. Enter by typing !raffle. And also, if you have any questions related to BFA or anything we've covered, we can explain that. Just send a question to SAS, and we can try to explain that in a few minutes. But pulling up the notes, we have some new guides we wanted to share and giveaways. First, we have Lulaboo back, and she has another cooking show on Wowhead with chef's tips based on recipes from the Warcraft cookbook. And this week she is making fry bread and forest strider drumsticks, and it looks really delicious. And if you want your own copy of the cookbook, leave a comment on that post saying what you would like to see turned into an actual recipe that started off in game. We have also been doing a bunch of guide updates, and several notable ones we want to highlight, with even more on the way. For our user guide spotlight, we highlighted add-ons for beginners by Wrath Babybel, and this is great if, you know, maybe you're a casual player or you've taken a break and you're like, how do I download add-ons again? Like, what is this Twitch app? You know, I used this add-on 5 years ago and now that's not around. Like, please tell me if there is something similar. And it will break down how to install add-ons and like top 10 add-ons if you are brand new to the game, or just, you know, need help navigating how to actually download things, seeing the Twitch UI, seeing where you have to click and sign up. And people have been leaving a lot of suggestions on what we should be covering for future guides. We will take that into account, and maybe we will write a guide on it. We actually made a new guide category called add-ons and tools because we thought that they were important and deserved to be more easily found. And speaking of tools, Shouldice, who wrote the Weak Auras guide for Wowhead last month, has released a new in-depth guide, and this is on raid bots. Raid bots lets you run character simulations online in a really nice, simple UI. It's powered by SimCraft, but if you thought that SimCraft was maybe too advanced or not sure of the options, this has a really pleasing user interface, and you can do all sorts of stuff like get stat weights, compare gear, compare different talent builds. You can pay to crunch a number of sims even faster using the cloud. You can get sims for different types of fights. So like, how do I do DPS with the setup on Patchwork versus AoE versus running around? And we've made a guide in case you want to figure out what is the best set of items for your character at this exact moment in time. And we have a few more guides on the way, not yet published, also covering things like macros and some other popular add-ons like All the Things. I know Annie is a big fan of that particular add-on. So stay tuned for that on Wowhead's front page. And we're also working on some lore articles as well, just kind of highlighting all the broadcast text, just sticking it in one place. You can see like this happened before this and this happened after this. So stay tuned for articles highlighting those guides. And, you know, thank you so much for the feedback you all give on them, because that helps us determine what we should write next to help everyone who uses the site out. So that's basically what I have. I'm checking questions from SAS. The Great Mew 83 says, now that we have Overwatch League on the BNet app, what are your opinions of the devs adding BlizzCon for virtual ticket holders, as numerous people have suggested this? I think it would be interesting, but maybe they could do the totally free parts for everyone, or they could have a little teaser encouraging you to pay, and that could get more people aware of BlizzCon. But I think it's interesting. I'm not opposed to it. It seems more relevant than Call of Duty. So,
wait, is the question whether we should put BlizzCon on the launcher?
Yeah. So like when Overwatch League is in session, a little drop down will pop down. I don't know if it's the same for you, but on US it's like Game Live now, like go here to see.
Like, even if you're in
also,
the World of Warcraft game?
oh, well, like, no, this is the launcher. So, like, you don't see this in game.
I mean, like, when you pick the game in the launcher?
Yeah. So it says game, social, shop, news, Overwatch League for me at the top.
Oh, all right.
So,
All right. Yeah, I've never been notified, so I didn't realize this.
so
But
yeah,
I do see it.
Yeah, it would be cool if, yeah, I think it would make sense to have a BlizzCon button there.
Yeah, I like that idea, actually. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I didn't realize that before. I don't really play much Overwatch, so I don't keep in the loop of things. But yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea.
There was one more question that I don't know the answer to, but I wanted to clarify. It was Demon Queen Elmigra said currently epic items from vendors got 4 Azerite traits, while the dungeon ones have 3 tiers. Doesn't mean that Mythic 10 gear will have 4 Azerite tiers or just 3 like the blue ones. So the short answer is I don't know, but the longer answer is Blizzard has said that the interface is a temporary interface. So to me, the system is not yet complete, so I don't want to pass judgment on it yet. I was surprised when I saw the easier gear having 3 tiers because in all their promotional materials they had those rings and there was 4 rings. So hopefully we'll get the final version on the Battle for Azeroth beta soon so we can, better analyze this. But I think that it would make sense if they want to view Mythic Plus as an alternate to rating and have them both be high-end, that the gear after a certain level should be competitive with raids.
Yeah, I think from all the kind of words and comments that they've thrown on the Azerite topic is that it's very far from what the final is going to be. At least that's what it sounds like. I don't think what we have seen is close to what it's actually going to be. And exactly. I'm not sure why it's taken very long. Maybe it's because they want to surprise us. Maybe it's... I'm not sure, actually. I think it might be one of those things that's going to be like, whoa, when we see it. But right. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So that's basically it for the beta-related questions. Did you pick a winner, Sess? Are you still waiting? Let's see.
As we're looking to see if we have picked a winner or not, I will repeat the beta key giveaway that we will be holding. I guess, would we pick winners for next show?
Yeah, let's pick it for next show. Oh, did you want to remind people? Oh, no, that's in 2 weeks. Well, the Wednesday show.
That's actually next week, too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, well, you have one less day to answer. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, first of all, the beta key giveaway, in case you didn't hear about it, or if you want to be reminded, we're giving away 5 keys, and it's going to be a Twitter post. You submit a screenshot by just posting the picture, tagging me and Perk, and writing hashtag Wowhead Weekly. I believe our Twitters are down below. Yes, they are. Our Twitters are both down below, so it's Perculia's and Infucia's Twitter, and the hashtag is Wowhead Weekly, and even on YouTube, it should be down below, so I don't think I need to give extra information on that. And yeah, we will pick winners and let you guys know, or poke you guys next week by the time it's showtime. And speaking of next week's show is going to be on the Wednesday instead, because I'm actually traveling on the Thursday. I'm traveling to the US for DreamHack Austin, and I'm going to be there for about a week, which means it might actually affect the show the week after that as well. But we'll take one week at a time. So next week's show, instead of the 31st, it will be on the 30th.
Yeah. Oh, we have a winner. It is Aegis2566.
Oh, wow,
so,
nice.
Congrats.
Congratulations, yeah. Aegis.
Yeah.
And then you got to tell us what the mystery thing is. We want to know now.
Yeah.
Also, could I mention the giveaway that I have off the beta keys as well?
Yeah, of course, yeah. We love keys. Go ahead. Yeah.
I also have a giveaway of beta keys on my own Twitter. There's 25 keys that I'm giving away, and that's also going to be lasting for, well, it's a week in total, but the last date is actually on Sunday, the 27th. So this giveaway ends a little bit earlier, but it's 25 keys, so it's quite a lot of keys, and we will put that link down below as well. For those of you guys in the Twitch chat, I'll just post it in as a comment by Wowhead there in the chat. But yeah, that's the Twitter. And yeah, links should be available everywhere. We'll make sure in the Wowhead post and on the YouTube as well.
Yep.
And I believe that's the wrap up. I believe we have covered everything. I think this is like the shortest show.
I know.
Ever.
Yeah. About an hour. The cat appeared, so still a good show.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Bradpod definitely made the show.
Yeah.
Beta servers are updated. Is that true? Beta build might be live. Who knows? It was not in time for us to talk about it unless there's something. Do you want to double check if there is anything right now?
We're still gathering information. I just looked and we just started getting information on it, but it takes a few minutes to show stuff.
Of course.
I feel like
we'll cover it next time.
Yeah, I'm seeing if I can see maybe, I don't know if there's a new login screen, but it's like not, oh, there we go. Anyway, I'll give it like 2 seconds. If there's a new login screen, we can show it on the screen, but it usually takes a few hours for us to like intelligently process what all the new mounts mean, so it's not just like a wall of text. So I don't think Annie wants to wait around for several hours or be like, oh, we're waiting. Oh, look, we posted a small thing. Okay, we're waiting 20 more minutes. Oh, we've got another thing. But
yeah, let's wait another 3 hours to give you the update of the spell name change.
Yeah. Okay, but I am opening the beta just to see if there is a new login screen, because if there is, you know, people might care about that.
I'm gonna quickly refresh you because you are a little bit delayed. Give me a second.
Oh, that's probably because I'm opening this thing.
Oh, maybe that's why.
Yeah, it's crashing on me, which beta is beta.
It happens, but it's okay. At least the voice sounds crystal clear to me, at least, so it should be to stream as well, so it's not a problem. Might be a little bit off sync.
No loading screen. It's got the same Legion dudes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, this is it from us, boys and girls. Thank you guys very much for hanging out and supporting. I saw that there were quite a few subscriptions. Thank you guys very much for that. Thank you guys for hanging around, for following the stream, for commenting, for asking questions. Also, a shout out to people who use Wowhead Premium on the Wowhead website. Wowhead Premium, if you're not familiar with that, is a subscription which removes all the ads on the website, supports Wowhead, of course, and also gives you extra little perks such as your own color when you're typing in the forums. And yeah, thank you guys very much. It feels kind of strange because this became a really short show, but this is it for now. There might be a build now overnight, well, night for me in Europe, but not in time for us to cover it. So we'll take care of it next week instead. Reminder again.
But we will be back a day earlier, so you can get all the news faster.
Yes, you get the news in 6 days instead of 7.
Yep.
So we'll be back on the 30th at 10 p.m. CEST because of summertime, and at 2 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, so until then, take care everyone. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the new build on beta, and enjoy making those screenshots for us. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's say that. We're looking forward to seeing all the screenshots.
Yep. All right.
Take care everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.